we'll get stuck in. Have we got any men in? There they are, the lads, the boys. Good to see you guys. We've been in the news, haven't we? Been making headlines the last year or so for being terrible. It's not all men. That's what you have to say now. It's not all men. Hashtag not all men. But also hashtag probably enough men now. Probably enough men that it's not unfair to start drawing conclusions. Have you guys been following the Me Too movement? Yeah, everyone's immediately tense. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. I've enjoyed the way that men have responded to the Me Too movement, because we've not taken it well, I'd have said. Essentially, a lot of women very bravely have come forward and said we're being sexually harassed, and we've all gone, oh no. Who's doing that? We're not very good at taking responsibility for our sexuality. We don't get taught that as a teenage boy. You get taught as a teenage boy that you have no control over your sexual urges, partly because when you're a teenage boy, you have no control over your sexual urges. I was no different. I remember when I was 14, I once had a wank because I saw the name Sophie written down. It's genuinely true. I apologise for making eye contact with you when I said the word wank. But no, that's true. There was a girl in my class called Sophie, and she wrote her name in my history book, and I turned to that page while I was doing my homework, saw it, went, oh, I'm going to have to now. But obviously, as you get older, you learn to take responsibility. And I worry sometimes now about people thinking I'm a creep. Got any creeps in? Yeah. Keeping a low profile. Textbook creep behaviour. I worried a bit about being seen as a creep when I live in London now, and I moved there, and I moved in with these two women who I didn't know. Lovely girls, I imagine, never spoke to them. It's not how we do it there. But we had this system where, for like the first hour after coming home from work, they'd leave their bedroom doors open, I'd leave mine open, because we were friends. And one day I came home from work, they were in their bedrooms, I went to my bedroom about 10 feet away, and I went on Facebook. And at the top of my Facebook feed was a video with the title, "This 12-year-old girl has the most beautiful voice. Turn up your sound." Okay. All right. So, some people have been stung before. I didn't know, so I turned up my sound, pressed play. It wasn't a 12-year-old girl with a beautiful voice. It was a fully grown woman having a very loud and very fake orgasm. Or more worryingly, a real orgasm, and I didn't recognise it. We won't pull at that thread, but I slammed my laptop shut, but it was very loud. There was 3 to 4 seconds of moaning, and they definitely heard, because they were 10 feet away, and I knew now what they'd think of me, and it didn't bother me that they'd think I'm the kind of guy who watches porn, because, I'm 28 years old, I've dabbled. What bothered me was that they now think I'm the kind of guy who watches porn the second he gets home. And that's the weird bit, like I've kicked the door down to get at myself. And there are no hard and fast rules, but I do think that if you start masturbating before you've taken your shoes off, you should be in jail. You should be in jail. It's difficult being a man sometimes, I think, when it comes to sex. Get terrible sex advice, am I right? Yeah, what did he tell you to do? Some weird shit. Okay. Told him to leave them alone. That's a shame, isn't it? Shame to bring that into the environment. Oh. Well, we all got a very different idea of you now, haven't we? To be warned off. But I'll leave you with the worst bit of sex advice I've ever had. You can take this away with you, take it home. A friend of mine, when I was about 17, was trying to give me his top tips for how to last longer in bed, right? Any premature ejaculators in? Did you point at him? How do you know? I revealed a lot about both of you now. It's a lot of fun. But my friend said, this was his advice. He said, what you have to do is try and distract yourself. And he said, so if you're in the moment, it's happening too fast, what you do is you try and name your all-time Premier League 11. In your head, not out loud. That's crucial. And it sounds like good advice, but in theory, because it distracts you, what it means in practice is that I cannot tell you how many times I've ejaculated whilst thinking about Gary Neville. Oh.